Doom.
Come on, boy. Let's play.
Yeah, let's play. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
Welcome to Market Makers, everybody. A special crypto update on Thursday because Ethereum on my screen did a 20% candle hitting all the targets. You should have seen how excited Lee and his girlfriend were.
I wanna rock right now. I wanna rock right now. I wanna rock right now. I'm Rob Bass and I came to get down.
I like her, Lee. She's a lot smaller than your ex. You can probably trade your lorry in for a car now. Let's go look at this in the beginning. Let's go to fear and greed. So if we look at fear and greed, what do we got? We almost are touching greed for the first time since April. Last time we touched greed was April, and before that, you got to go back to October 2025 around my birthday. That's been a long time. So let's click through some charts. Here we are on total, all the money going into crypto. We were talking about this, guys, as you know, ad nauseum, very boring for weeks and weeks. Breaking above 2.29 trillion, you're going to get higher prices. And of course, everything ripped. Why did everything rip? Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent, he announced doubling the buybacks. So liquidity, the idea is that money's getting easier. Now, the key thing is, let's go to Bitcoin. Key thing is this an ephemeral move? It's a big vocab word, but what that means is it temporary? And remember, my thesis going back to the markets, and you can go watch my market video, crypto video I did on Monday. My thesis has been the same. Typically, historically, in the 4-year cycle, in the midterm election year, you make a summer top. I was predicting July. Of course, I was predicting that 5-6 months in advance, predicting July for the top. Here we are in mid-August, made a new all-time high. And you typically get that top. You get a correction or a pullback in front of the midterm election. For those of you outside the country, because half of our audience, believe it or not, is in Europe and outside the country, that election's in November. So typically you get a top, you get a correction, then the most bullish time of the cycle in the 4-year cycle is those months November out into the summer. The S&P goes up 20%, NASDAQ goes up 30%. And again, this isn't like history from the last 10 years. This is since 1950s on the S&P, since the 1970s on the NASDAQ when it was created. It typically goes up 30%. What is a beta asset to tech? Bitcoin. Bitcoin will do a multiple of 2 to 3x on that. So the most bullish time of the cycle is ahead of us. The question a lot of people have is, does this make the bottom, that 57K, is that more durable now that we've had this ripper? And we're going to look at that on the charts. But let's look at the resistance directly above us. Now, as you guys know, for months, we've been predicting the rebound. And when that rebound came, I gave you these targets. 70K at the 50%, 73 at 618, 77.5 at the 786. Why is that? Perhaps the best way to animate this to you right here on the screen is just a simple understanding of wave mechanics, something Charles Dow wrote about in the 1890s. Prices go up, they pull back. It's this move back up that you get that determines whether you go on to a new high or you fail below, and that's how you retrace, right? And you see this over and over again. Simple wave mechanic, up, down. Do you break out to a new high or do you top and break down? And you see it over and over again here in the downtrend. Wave down, rubber band theory is another way to understand this. You stretch the rubber band, you snap back, and then you wave down again. You stretch the rubber band, you snap back, and you wave down again. You guys remember me doing this literally for weeks and weeks. So you snap back. This is your snapback rally, right? People call this different things. Dead cat bounce, whatever. That's if they're really bearish. The key thing is what targets are you going to hit and can you hold it as support? Now, I've been showing you guys this again for a long time, but the 108 RMA, and the reason this is important is if you go back again historically as an analog here, 2022, once you got above the 108 right here, you came back down, you retested it again. You broke out, pull back, broke out, pull back. You kept retesting it for weeks and weeks. You never lost it, and then you went on a 100,000 point rally. You did something similar back with the pandemic. Once you got back above it, you went on a 60,000 point rally. You did it back in 2019 as well for a 260% rally, and Jungle in our Discord went back to 2015 and found the same thing. So this is something that's interesting. It is just an indicator, but it's something that I want to see what we can do here. Is 1 week above this, we don't even have a full weekly candle yet above it, enough? I think you need to see opens and closes above this. I would think you'd probably need to be above this for a few weeks because, again, where we are in the cycle is typically the market's top and then they correct. And the question is, will Bitcoin hold the low? Will it hold the 108 when it corrects, or is it going to make a new low, right? So these targets, your typical reversal zone on snapback rallies is always going to be your kill box. This is something that I've studied extensively in Fibonacci, but 618, 786, right? This is typically your reversal zone. So 73 out to 77.5. This is also your 18 RMA on the weekly. Notice what it did here, that rally up to 82.8. You failed beneath it. Notice what it did on the previous snapback rally at 97.9. You failed beneath it. So you want to watch this area. This is an important area to watch. Flipping 77 would be very bullish, and you would have higher level targets, and that's how you get into the high 80s, low 90s on that type of move. So I still think my bias, because of the historical analogs, is that we're going to top in the markets and correct. Now, the catalyst in front of us, actually two catalysts, one major one, is NVIDIA on Wednesday. NVIDIA reports their earnings after hours. So the market expectation is they're doubling, okay? So the market expectation is, in other words, exponential growth. If that happens, will NVIDIA rise? Should you care watching crypto videos if NVIDIA rises? You absolutely should, because that is the biggest stock weighting in the S&P, in the NASDAQ, the largest stock in the world. It lifts all of tech. The NASDAQ is heavily weighted. It means it'll lift the MAGs. The MAGs are 34, 36% of the S&P. So you need to understand that. So Bitcoin could carry up higher here, but this move, I think, will be more ephemeral, because I do not think you will have a correction in the S&P with trillions of dollars leaving and Bitcoin's going to continue to go up. It's playing catch up right now on a snapback rally that we've been talking about for months. So these are important things. Let's look at this on some indicator level. RSI, you cross back above the median line. You can see your volume delta here. Got a nice volume candle. You don't have a trend yet on your ADX on the weekly. If we look at Bitcoin, just look at the volume relationships here in Bitcoin. So what's a volume relationship? Two types of volume that I care most about are stopping volume and breakout volume, and also breakdown volume, but it's the same thing. But stopping volume, strong sell-off, or you get volume spikes. Why? Because buyers are stepping in, right? What happens when the buyers step in? You get the ceiling for your trading range. And then you see this over here, breakout volume. Look at your volume spike, breakout volume to the upside. So these are the volume relationships that I tend to track, and you'll see it on breakdowns too. Another way to predict this target, because remember, we're looking at this on the weekly, 73,360 to 77.5. Another way to predict this target is our range expansion with Fibonacci cycles of growth and decay. You guys see me talk about this all the time. By the way, give me a follow on X at Market Canary. Lee, throw that thing up there for them. Give me a follow there, because I post stuff there as well. But when we're looking at this, where's that overlap on Fibonacci? Fibonacci confluence, 73, 77. That's the same exact range, two different measurements, giving you that from the previous rally high and from range expansion. So would I be surprised if Bitcoin comes up to our range up here, 73 to 77? No, because it's the exact same range as it is over here. And we have the catalyst in NVIDIA in front of us. On top of that, we have Fed Chair Warsh speaking at Jackson Hole. Again, don't know what he's going to say. Don't know if he's going to be bullish, or not bullish, but dovish, or if he's going to come off more bearish, talking about the potential for hikes. I don't know what he's going to say. I'm looking at the seasonals. I'm looking at the cycle, and that's what I see happening. So what is really bullish on Bitcoin? Let's say if it starts pulling back, or if it comes up into the range, comes back down, holding the top of the trading range. Why is that really bullish? Because it's the exact same thing Ethereum did before it had a 20% massive God candle to the upside, okay? Staying on top of your trading range is one of the core theses of Wyckoff, is an extremely bullish event, and then it's just a matter of taking out your previous high. In other words, you come up, you pull back. Can you hold this at 67K? Well, if you break your previous high, you're going up another level. If you top beneath it, it's how you get double tops, triple tops, things like that, depending on the time frame that you're looking at. Let's look at Bitcoin's indicators here on the daily. RSI is overbought. Remember we talked about the DVD, volume delta, buyers minus sellers. I told you guys for weeks, this is an accumulation range, bearish breaking down below, bullish breaking out. And what did you do? You broke out to the upside, right? So this is in a range that looks like, when you start looking at Ethereum, looks predictable, right? It looks predictable in hindsight. Now, obviously the catalyst was Besant announcing the doubling the buybacks, but it looks predictable. And we're going to go cover Ethereum here in just a second. So these are just some different things, guys. We had a big move in Bitcoin. What was this actual move off the pump candle? We got 13%. You got 20% in a single candle on Ethereum, moving at a beta. And these are the targets above you, 73, 77. Watch for any type of weakness. See if it can get up to that range. And actually, if you throw the 1272 on here, I bet you we hit it. Let's look. I mean, obviously we went through it, but I think we probably hit it for resistance. And you did. The first pump candle hit the 1272. You got a pullback, and now you're breaking back up. So again, the bias here is to get to 73. Flip that, you have 73, 77. And in that range, before I get too excited, this is what I want to see. If Bitcoin starts topping in this range, the kill box range, the confluence with the weekly chart, if we start getting tops in the markets, if NVIDIA disappoints and the markets start selling, but Bitcoin's still kind of grinding higher, I'm going to use all these things as confluence. And if you guys want to understand this stuff at a deeper level or talk to me about it, check out our Discord. You can click the join button right there on YouTube, get our videos on YouTube, and you can jump over to the Discord. So check that out. Let's look at MSTR. Bitcoin's a big proxy here for the stocks. Exact same thing. This is why pattern trading, in my opinion, is like the most effective way to trade the markets. And I've tried many different methods over the last 25 years, but understanding patterns. And one of the key patterns, again, a Wyckoff principle, is a trading range. You have a trading range, bearish below, been covering this for members, bullish above, and then oftentimes you come back and retest the range. You get a breakout, came to the 1272. It's going to be about holding $100. Just use a psychological number. Can you hold it? Can you break out to the upside? If you do on MSTR and strategy, you got 112, 120, 130. You already hit 112 and 1272, and you're pulling back some, okay? So you're seeing this reflected in the stock proxies for the digital assets as well. Look at what you did here on Ethereum. Ethereum, you exited the trading range, you got on top of it, and you went sideways. Again, this is very common. You go up, you come down. We hit our first projected target of 1983. Again, I gave you these targets back over here in June. So you hit your first projected target in 1983, you pull back, but you held the top of the trading range. When you start throwing in your RMAs and you look at the 18 RMA, right? So here's it without the 18 RMA. You have a downtrend line. On my Monday video, we talked about testing this downtrend line, breaking above the downtrend line, how you would hit all these potential levels on a strong upside move. I didn't think you'd get there in a day, but you hit all of them in the upside move. And you got to 2258, actually above it. You got to 23 and change. So you hit all the targets, but when you throw on the 18 RMA, look at the slope of the 18 RMA. You have the 18 coming up, being used as support, You see it squeezing, right? You see it squeezing against the downtrend line. Boom, 20% guide candle there on the rally on Ethereum. So Ethereum, what does it need to do? Staying above 2250 would be great because that's flipping to 786. In other words, staying in this level structurally, look where you're at. 90% is 2367. And if you have higher level targets, you're going to have to break 2367, another $100 higher. And then we're going to be pulling fibs from a higher level to get those range targets. But you're in the sweet spot right now in Ethereum. This is a level that we've been predicting for months that you could get to on a snapback rally, and you're there. So what happens here and what happens in the markets in the next week or so is very, very important. Let me look at this. You can see on your RSI, you got blown out. Look at your volume. Excellent volume here, excellent buying. Momentum went up. That's excellent. Let's do one more. Let's do, we got BitMiner and then we'll do Solana. So BitMiner, again, the same proxy, been covering this for members, came right down to the 1618 at 1291. Range degradation, and now you came back up, and we came right back up to, I've been telling the members when we cover BitMiner, watch the 618 786 for the snapback rally, 2169, and look at the accuracy of fibs. This is why I love ratios. 2169, and BitMiner got to 2176, and that's holding right now as resistance. Obviously, if Ethereum has another leg higher, you're going to see this as a proxy. Flipping 2169, let's just call it 22. Flipping 22, you need to get above 2385, and then you have higher level targets of 28. But you'll see this confluence if Bitcoin and Ethereum can grind higher. You'll see BitMiner break out as well. What you may end up doing here, if this is going to be your topping range between $22 and $24, you may end up doing something like this, right? This may end up being what you get, something like this, and then it's going to be about this pullback. Can you hold a higher low? Are you going to make a new low? If you can hold the higher low or a co-equal low, then come the fall, actually past the fall, but come the correction, come the bottom, you're going to see like a W pattern recovery on BitMiner, and that's how you're going to be able to trade it, because there's going to be trades down here wherever this thing bottoms, if we bottom back down there. Let's look at Solana. Solana, again, this led the way back at 62.55. This is where I had a trade on Solana. We got to the predicted targets. My first level target was 83.71. Second level is $90. We got to 83.71. We sold off, downtrend line, broke up through it, came back down for 50% retracement, and you make your W. Do you see your W? You make your W. Broke back above 83.71. $90 is that second level target. You're at 86. And the key thing is, where are you on the fibs? You're right in the kill box, right? 618, 786. Important area to watch for any type of topping action or strength. Flipping 90 would be bullish. You'd be going up and retesting 100 if you can do that move. But right now, you got to watch the markets. Got to watch what happens. We got a lot of catalysts in front of us. Guys, hope all of you have a fantastic weekend. I will see you on Monday's video. Hope to see you on the Discord as well. Take care.